Hey kids, Mark Miller here. Welcome to the show. We are going to pick up where we left off yesterday, getting Sprinkles, the Battle Unicorn animation working out, making it work in a way that's a little more conducive to the way that we're playing. And I don't know, that's kind of what we're going to looking at doing today. So let's kind of get right into it. Interestingly, I think I'm going to, I got a little cutie spell effect that was going there for one of the spells that she was going to cast. So I just want to check to see. Yep, find steed. And I'm just doing a little bit of testing on the spell. So let's get some music going here. Looks like the spells are not not showing. And I think I would actually like to figure out why that's the case. Yeah, and I'm also similarly seeing not here. We expect to see the spell book appear here. Let's take the back overlay and we're going to disable it over here. I'm going to disable the front overlay as well too, so we get rid of those pieces over there. And let's figure out why we're not seeing spells over here. Well, we'll just work in this background area here. I've got my controlling piece right here. Now I did make some changes to the gaming engine, just a little bit, because I needed some diagnostic pieces here. Hoping to see more errors that would that would explain why we're not seeing it. So let's go in to the app and set a breakpoint. See what's going on here. We want to go to Spellbook. Is in the house. Six positive. Six positive's coming in with a question. Should I be a cutie? Should little cutie be a gnome or a dwarf? I was actually looking at this sex positive, and I came up with a completely different answer. And but I don't have a link to your character, your new character that I created for you that had that answer. Let me see if I can get that answer for you real quickly and explain why. Right. Here's the old one. If I can come in here and create a new character, maybe. 6 of 6 used. I'm not sure what this is. I'm just going to go into this one right here. And race. So the race I thought is this one that I thought was pretty good for you. And the reason why was essentially +2 charisma. You weren't asking me. I know, baby. Give it a second, because we got a lot of people don't show up for about another 10 minutes. So if you want to get a lot of other people. But this is what I came up with for you. For a couple of reasons. One is because this is unofficial content, so this is like it could become official in the future. So it's kind of slightly out on the edge. You get +2 to charisma, which for the paladin you use charisma as your spell casting modifier, which means your spells are more powerful with +2 charisma. With gnomes and with dwarves, you get other benefits, but not to charisma. So you're, for example, stronger, I think. Let's look at that. The dwarf gets a benefit to constitution, which means your saving throws are better. You can't be poisoned and things like that. And your gnome gets benefit to intelligence, which does not really help you. So with regards to any of the things that you do as a paladin. So that's why I went with this idea of the variant Aasimar. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And normally these creatures are described as almost celestial-like beings. is what they're described as. But I'm thinking, oh, what if Little Kitty was like a younger version of one of these? And then all of a sudden it all works out with regards to her size being small. Muppet Born, yeah, I didn't really look at Muppet Born. We could play in that space a little bit, I suppose, but yeah, I don't know. We can look at those things. You can certainly, I think the Muppet Born is not here on D&D and Beyond. Let's look at that. Very serious 5e race. Yeah, right here. I'm pretty sure you get the Hand of the Monster. You get a +1 charisma increase, so you get that. If you follow that particular piece, but what about ability score increase? Your Constitution and Dexterity increase by 1. Yeah, so it's still, those are okay, but they're not the +2 to charisma, which is the other benefit. But of course you can do this. Those things can happen. The other thing is we could do any of these, pick any of these races, and we could just, kind of with the DM's permission, change the charisma. So also possibility, right? Just say, okay, you're going to get a +2 instead of to strength or constitution. You're going to get it to charisma because you're so dang cute. Glorious human lustrous hair. Is that here or is that back over here? Glorious humans with lustrous hair. Yeah, there it is right there. So it does kind of fit. Hey, today Retro CRT. Welcome, buddy. Welcome to the show. Let me make a note over here. All right. So, yeah, those could be the race. Karen, come back and ask your question like in about 15 minutes, and I think you're going to get more people coming in there and answer your poll there. Meanwhile, I want to find out why the spellbook's not showing up. A lot of references. The piece I'm looking for is just one little constructor here. I feel like we're almost done with those static references. No, they're used all over the place. I want to get out of this file. All right, it's going to be faster to just type in a new, I think, it's spellbook and see where it's created. Greg's out there. Hey, Greg. Glad to have you with us today. All right, there it is right there. There's my constructor. There's my load resources. Here's my draw. So what's going on maybe here? There's my breakpoint. Don't have active spell data. Okay. So let's keep running it. Why don't we have active spell data is the question. Well, we are here. And if we go to our controller app and we change from here to here, that should send some new spell data across. If we change to another player, yep, that works. So our active spell data is not, oh, whoa, now it's happening. That's weird. Now we're getting it. And if we go back over here, yep, find C's up. Okay, so maybe that's just it looks like a state bug. It's going to be hard to pursue now because I'm not sure how to duplicate that. Make a note of it. Keep an eye out for it. Let me just write this down. State bug. Spells not appearing. Draw active spell data was null, or essentially not defined. All right, let's look at sprinkles. We come back here, bring back the Dragon Front overlay, and reinitialize player data.
Willie Shaker Red.
All right, excellent. So there's that. Let me close down the other nameplates here, make those go away. And click on the Show Sprinkles button. Here it comes. All right, so we've got, basically yesterday there were some issues with Fred coming in and out, kind of jumping in different places. It looks like those issues are corrected. I'll do a Show Sprinkles call again here. And then there it is. If I click on walk left, he's got to finish the idle animation. Oh, looks like we're here in the breakpoint. And we'll run it. And once he's done, he just starts walking left. If I click on walk right, oh, I thought I clicked on, oh, there he goes. So what's funny about it is he stops looking real the minute he starts doing that. So walk left, he's going forward. Walk right, he's reversing the animation. So here comes the walk right, reversing, but it only does one. It doesn't play through and keep going. That's probably something we should figure out. Click on walk right just now. You walk right from an idle? Oh, there it is. Okay. So walk right from that side, you can't see the problem because it's by the time it occurs, he's off screen. If I click it now, it starts to moonwalk. So let's kind of figure that out. If we look at walk left and walk right in the code here, let me hide the scroll here. If we look at walk left and walk right, they're both calling transition to walk. And transition to walk is essentially the same code. The only difference is we're passing in what's the animation we're going to be playing here. And we can push that into the command queue, the walk command, whatever that is. That's this piece right here. So the walk backwards. So I guess what I'm saying here is that looks pretty good. There's no problem here. The problem, still though, I'm not sure if the problem is here at this level or down low. If the problem is that if we're in a reverse animation, if we're not able to somehow loop that. So I just wanted to see where else the difference between sprinkles walk and sprinkles backwards are. So here, if the sprinkles walk command comes in, we set our state to walking, and we set our velocity change to that particular direction we're moving. And if we're walking backwards, we do essentially the same thing. And the only thing here is we switch the command data around because we're just going to do a walk, but we're going to set reverse to true. So, oh. Hi all, day one of quarantine. Supplies are good, spirits are high. Hey, day one is always the best of quarantine, I think. Maybe day n-1 is not bad too. Welcome, Jets. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, so so this looks reasonable. I think it's safe to, is it safe to conclude that the problem is down below? There's also one other, I think there's another piece here, and there's an on-cycled event handler. An on-cycled is called when, I think, is that what it was? On cycled, animation cycled. This is called when the animation goes through one complete loop. We're already sending a console log out here. And all we're doing here is we're checking to say, hey, if we're looking at our death animation right here, then we're going to say goodbye, which basically says we're expiring everything. And we're going to fade out. We're going to fade everything out. Going to be looking for my streaming friends to keep me sane, or whatever passes for sane. Yeah, Jetsam. By the way, we're our other show, our twitch.tv / Dragon Humpers show. I've got, aside from the fact that our Dungeon Master, who I heard from yesterday, is feeling better, I've got actors going crazy saying we're ready to go, right? It's like the only production available practically out there. So we've got actors just ready to go. So as soon as our Dungeon Master is back, we're going to go live on that. He says he's feeling better. And if he continues to improve, he thinks he's going to be able to do it back on this Sunday. So hopefully that's the case. Meanwhile, Karen has decided to produce an all-female version of the show, and she's interviewing actors. She'll be doing that this week. New improv actors who are also like going crazy because they're ready to do anything fun with a group of people. So I'm pretty positive about, I think, what we'll end up producing, and I think the overall impact that it'll have. I think it'll have a positive impact on folks out there. So I'm looking forward to that. So one of the things we do in animation cycle is we check to see hey, have we gone one loop all the way through the death animation? Because the death animation is not a looping thing, but if we've gone all the way through and we're done, we come in here, then I want to say goodbye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just fade it out at the end. So then I return. The other thing I'm checking to see is, hey, is this sprite name end with this horn modifier? Let me just show you where this is used. Horn modifier is just a dot horn right there. It's just a string to identify it. And when we create a new horn body pair, a horn from it, when we do that, we're going to just give it a name with the horn modifier on the end. And what this allows me to do is that when we cycle through, I check to see if the sprite name ends with the horn modifier. If it does, I cast the sprite to a color shifting sprite proxy. Then I get its hue by calling get current hue shift. And then I set it so that I can now do the magic I need to do with it. Also this, I don't think I'm doing anything with this right now. This is something I wanted to do. Looks like I'm totally not using this. And in fact, it so looks like I'm not using it. I'm going to do that. So horn hue, I'm just saving that. And horn hue now sets the new initial horn hue for the next animation. So when we go from one animation to another, the color of the horn matches seamlessly. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. And that's all I'm doing when the animation is cycling. So I was thinking maybe I do have an execute next command. Well, let's go look at execute next command. If the command queue length is 0, then we should be returning, which means if we're walking backwards, a breakpoint here should be hit. Yeah, so there's nothing in it. We're walking backwards right now. I think we look at our state. Our state is 4, which I bet is walking backwards. Right there, yeah, that's a 4, right there. So we are walking backwards right now, so there's nothing we're doing inside of execute command. So that seems to indicate that advanced sprites inside sprite proxy is not cycling it around for some reason. Advanced frame is what I think it is, sorry. Let's go look for advanced frame. So it looks like it's a low-level bug with the engine. Right here. Let's set a breakpoint here. And hopefully this is the only sprite that we're advancing in here and running the animation in. Just want to step through it, see what's happening. Sequential stop, it's not that. Our animation style is 5, which is right after sequential stop, which is loop. Cool. Sweet. So that's good. We're in a loop. And I bet is it reverse? Where's my reverse? It's true, reverse. So we're in the right place. So we need to figure out what what's going on here? Return frame index is 0. And what is my current frame index? I got to get down in here. My current frame index is 0. If segment size is greater than 0, I think that's going to be big fat false there. And we're going to call it advanced frame. And are we going to reverse? Yeah, we're going to reverse. We're passing that in. We're passing the return frame index. Yeah. And now what we want to do is go inside. And no. I'm just hitting F10. So we've got a lot of frames drawn, but it's just mostly been that one frame drawn. We come in here, milliseconds pass. Num frames to advance is 1. Okay, fine. Last time we advanced the frame was num frames times frame interval. Okay, cool. Wait, where's frame interval? Okay, it's passed in. Because I want to play with frame interval is what I want to do. All right, num frames drawn. Okay, if reverse. And now we're going to go frame index -1. Okay, cool. Now we're at -1. If n bounds is not equal to 0, if not reverse, if frame index is less than 0, yes. Frame index is equal to return frame index. Whoa, wait. Our return frame index is wrong, I think. So we're back out here. Returning frame index was 0. We said if it's going reverse, if we're going forwards, does it feel like these are completely reverse? Oh, no, wait. If it's equal, wait, where is it? Oh, here's my problem. Here's my problem. It should be if reverse. Sorry, if this base animation dot reverse. I think this is going to fix it. Then we're going to say return frame index is equal to frame count -1. That's what I think. And I want to put a big to-do here, check for end bounds. That's what I think it is. We got an end bounds in here. Where is it? It's on Sprite proxies. Is it on Sprite? Where's my end bounds? Let's drop a marker here and look for bounds. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Segment size. Look for segment size. Calculate the return frame index for bounded animations. So bounded animation is an animation that has a sequence, a start sequence and or an end sequence that plays outside of the loop. So the loop plays and plays and plays until it's done, and then it goes to the end, and or we have an initial sequence like the flowers growing up out of the ground that plays before we do the loop of the flowers blowing in the wind. So that's what's going on here. I think there's a shot this is going to fix that. right there. Okay, that's what I think it is. So let's run it. And let's refresh it. Let's initialize player data. All right. And
Willie! Red!
okay. And show sprinkles. Over here, we're delay loading. Hold on, it's a little bit off screen. Let me bring it over here. This is the one we're looking at. That one right there. Let's do walk left. Pretty sure I hit walk left. There it is. Okay, just had to finish that. And then walk right about now. Walk right. Come on, where's my right? Gonna keep going. Look at that. Cool. That means we fixed a bug in the engine. We found and fixed an edge case bug in the engine. Walk left. Looks like he's not. Oh, there he is. He's coming now. All right. So, okay, cool. That's not bad. I'm going to let him just keep walking. Now I want to play with something kind of a little freaky. I want to play with the frame rate. And I want to also, I want to change the game engine so that it can handle a variable frame rate, a frame rate that changes while it's playing the animation. That's what I want to do. That's why I was looking at that frame rate. I was so interested in it as a parameter. So let's look at that frame rate. Oh, come on. Maybe get to the right file. Let's find it over here. Frame rate. Come on. Wasn't here? All right, let's do this. Let's go back to where we were. Frame interval. That's what I should have been looking for. All right, frame interval is part of the sprites collection. And what I want to do is make the frame interval come in here. Whoops. I'm going to say variable of type number. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call this frame rate override. Like that. That's what I want to do. So I'm making a big change to the game engine right now. And whenever you do something like this, I think you're like, is this going to cause problems? Is this going to add performance issues? That sort of thing. I'm going to assume no, it's not. That it's going to be pretty minimal what we're going to do here. But basically, what I'm looking for is, I guess I want to look at everywhere that the frame interval is used. Now, this is coming from, just so when you see this, the this.frame interval here, we're inside the sprites class, which is essentially a collection of sprites. This is using the flyweight design pattern to basically maintain a list of sprite proxies. And the sprites class knows how to draw and paint frames from that group. And typically that sprites class has always maintained its frame interval. It's always held on to that from the beginning because it's always been the same. Right? Whatever that animation is, we always want that to be the same. But now I want to introduce something new, which is a variable frame rate. And the reason I want to do this is because if we look at that idle animation when Sprinkles shows up, here comes the idle right now, right there. This idle animation is all I got. I have no other resources on this. I do have a graze, but we haven't seen the graze yet. But after a while, this gets repetitive. And so what I want to do is I want to essentially create a callback for whenever a frame is advanced, send the frame index and the direction, and then have some code come in and decide, oh, maybe I want to slow it down here. Maybe randomly or whatever. Or maybe I want to reverse it. I want to come in and let's reverse now. And I'm also noticing that reverse is held in the base animation right here. And I think you're gonna see two things that I'm gonna do here. So one of the things I'm gonna do is come in here and say, hey, if sprite dot frame rate override. So if there's anything there, and let's create a new local frame rate, like that. And I'm gonna set it equal to this dot frame interval, like that. Yeah, fine, we're gonna call it frame interval. It's not really a rate. And then that means I'm going to rename this to frame interval override. So if there's anything there, then we're going to say that's equal to this. So with my animations, of which I might have, maybe 1,000 or more running per second, I've now added these lines of code here. And I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to clean this up and we're just going to do that and that. There. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Nice, and it's only used there. So my estimation of the cost of this is going to be negligible. Nobody's going to know what that cost is going to be. Nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to detect that. That's going to execute faster than we can draw a pixel almost. So I think we're good. Well, maybe not the faster now, but okay. Similarly, should I do the reverse? Should I throw out the reverse here? I think I will, and I think I'll do it right now. And now I'm going to say, what is my problem here? I don't know if there's a code rush issue or not. I'm going to just report it. It feels like it might be Visual Studio. All right, guys, here's the, there's a bug here, it looks like, and I don't understand it. I'm hitting my shortcut key to go to definition. Here, I'll just come in here and grab it with a mouse and jump in. Go to definition. I'm there. I hit the down arrow. Now it works. Let's use the keystroke to get there. Down arrow. Now it works. Okay. Roll back. Roll back like 30 seconds before this link starts and watch what I was doing. I was hitting my shortcut to get in, and then I moved the down arrow key, and as soon as I moved down arrow, what would happen is I'd be back over here. It wasn't moving or advancing the caret. And I know this is a Visual Studio command, but I want you to look at my, look at the log file, see if there's anything in there, any clue around this time of any kind of issues or any kind of problems. There we go. So yeah, we are dogfooding Code Rush every day. Go to definition. Not moving caret. Check log files. So yeah, we are, there's the issue wrapping up right there. That's going to send all my log files over to the dev team. They get a link to they get a link to the show where the problem starts. Deep Water did not have it. Our Dungeon Master got sick. Glad you're with us, by the way, Deep Water. Thanks for being here. Yeah, our Dungeon Master got sick and he is recovering. I don't know if it's coronavirus or not, but he was in New York in a dorm and it hit him hard to the point that he had to be get his parents to come take him out. He says he's recovering. He says by this Sunday, if he continues to recover at the rate he is, he'll be ready to go. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too. I'm like, I was a little bit sad about that. So I've got a, yeah, how are you guys? How are you doing, Deep Water? How's everything over where you are? I hope your government's taking good care of you. That's not always, yeah, more time to work on the Battle Unicorn, of course. That's what we're doing. Right now I'm working on frame interval overrides and And I'm working on I'm going to do a direction, animation direction override. Animation direction override. So I'm making big change, arguably big changes. I don't know. I'm changing my game engine, right? The game engine is something you generally, once it's working, you don't want to go in and mess with it too much. But I want to do two things here. The sprite proxy, this is following the flyweight design pattern, is basically holds the data needed to draw something, but it doesn't hold the image, doesn't know about the image. All of that's held out there in the sprites class, which is over here on this tab. So the sprites proxy, though, and the sprites class holds the direction and holds the interval. I'm adding these two pieces right here. Frame direction override. Maybe let's change this to Boolean. Let's call this animation reverse override. So if there's anything here, this is going to be undefined if we don't touch it. But if it's not undefined, then what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to say, hey, look, if sprite dot animation reverse override, then we're going to say we need to create I'm going to type in LB here for let bool right there, and I'm going to say this is going to be we'll just call this reverse, I think is what we'll call this, and we're going to set it equal to this dot base animation dot reverse, like that. There's my reverse. And then down here, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to use this instead. And then as you can probably guess, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, hey, reverse is equal to the reverse override, like that. So now we'll be able to take an animation. At any point inside the animation, we'll be able to back it up and reverse it. Pretty sure. Let's double check to make sure where else we're using this. Let's go back over into sprites. Okay, problem here. There's a problem with the return frame index with reversing. Doing all right. New Orleans lockdown. Wife, myself, and 4-year-old at home for next month. Interesting times. Normal dev wouldn't be making changes to engine, but you're not a normal dev. That's a compliment, by the way. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm always, Rory's not with us this week, but Rory, if he were here, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's what Mila does. He drives close to the edge of the cliff. Yeah, I was in the Air Force Academy when I was younger, and they gave me a psych test before they let me in. And I totally remember one of the questions on the psych test was, you're near the edge of the cliff, what do you do? And one of the answers was, run to the edge and look over the edge, something like that. And I was right in there on that. And I don't know if that got me in or not, or made them be like, better watch out for that guy. But that's typically, even when I'm driving in the car, we go near the edge of a cliff, and I'm like, hey, isn't that exciting? Look over there. Everybody's like, no, like that. So that's how I like to work, is close to the edge of chaos. That should be the name of either my autobiography or maybe the show, Close to the Edge of Chaos. I like that a lot. I'm going to write that down. Let's write that down here. Close to the edge of chaos. Also in the Air Force, after being in a couple of years, I took some personality tests. After we got the results back, the psychologist asked me what the heck I was doing in the Air Force. Yeah, I know it's true. A lot of people who know me are like, you were where? You were what? What? Yeah, no, it's true. I was there. Partially there because I didn't want my dad to pay for my college, and that was a way to solve that problem. And my dad was kind of legally obligated because of some divorce agreement. And so I was like, you know what? I wanted to kind of do that on my own. And so Deepwater says, help me grow up. Yeah, I think, if it's not bad, right? Especially if you're prone to making mistakes, bad choices maybe. They kind of say, here are all the good choices you make. And if you make a bad choice, they're right on you. So whereas sometimes in the real world, if you make a bad choice, the consequences creep up on you slowly. So, okay, so I got a slight problem here with reverse in here, and that I'm calculating the return frame index. And for loops, what that does is that is telling us how do we get back around to the other side. And I think what the fix to this is striking me as slightly high risk, because I have to get it right, and if I don't, I'm going to create an edge case bug that's going to be really hard to find. So I'm like, at this moment, I'm like, that's right over the edge of the cliff. Because the reason, this return frame index, we're going to have to maybe recalculate this. It's almost like this code needs to be moved into the loop. And I'm a little nervous about that as well. So I just want to hold on for a second. Do I really want to be able to reverse in the middle? For this animation, I totally do. I just thought of a workaround. Hold on. I got a workaround for it. When the workaround is just create a new animation on top of it, starting at that frame, but going backwards. I could do that. That solves that, and then I don't have to touch this so much. Which means, hold on. There's actually another way to solve this too. Segment size. This is this crazy thing here, where we calculate the start and the end of the segment. That is specific bug-related stuff that we don't need anymore. I'm trying to focus. Please not this time. Just move it back. Really? With Sprinkles here with me? Pudding. Yeah, I guess it's time for your segment, Pudding. Time for your segment, Pudding. We're working on Sprinkles today. Sprinkles Battle Unicorn. Of course, that's what we're working on. Welcome, Pudding. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Just, trying not to write any dangerous breaking code right now. Yeah. I think, what if I extracted this into its own method? It's just getting the return frame index, right? Wait, what is that? What just happened here? I don't even know what that was. Okay, oh, I did something here. I hit this button. I gotcha. Okay. What is start offset? Return frame index. Why am I doing that? All right, well, I think we can do this instead. That I think is safe. So that changed. It was 0, but the idea is that, well, okay, but with the next thing we do is we just assign it to return frame index, and that was coming from here, right? So that means that I can change this initialization to that, which means I no longer need this, okay? Now, this I can extract to its own method. Let's do that. And we're going to call get return index, like that. We're going to pass one more parameter in, and that's going to be whether we're reversing or not. So this I want to turn into a parameter. So copy that and just delete this part. Delete this part. And now I want to come in here and type in VB and then say reverse. that. Then I want to go back to get the call, and then I want to pass in this. Now, if we reverse the direction, I can now come in here and do this, but now passing in reverse right here. So only I'm going to call this if we're like, you know, we've got a reverse override in there. That's what I'm going to do. And I think that's going to work for me. Except for we're in the loop. And if we have multiple, so with Sprinkles, who's only got one of these on screen at any time, not a big deal. But the problem is, because we're in a loop, if I change it here, I kind of got to, when I'm done, I got to restore it. I think. I almost got to be at the end of the loop here, and I got to say, hey, if we're still reversing, then I want to come in and I want to say, well, we're going to go back to this dot base animation dot reverse. I'm having some screen update problems here. Let me see if I can close some things down. Sometimes I find that helps. What do I have that I can close down now? Well, I got Task Manager. How are things going there? All right, let's close that down. Excuse me. Close to the edge of chaos. Yeah, no, I'm getting flicker for sure. Hold on, let me try one other thing. Sometimes I can switch my display settings around a bit. And that helps. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Did not help them. Still getting to see them flicker. And then the other option is I can bring up my NVIDIA control panel, which I just did and nothing came up. There it is. Okay. And so I don't know if you can see this on the, yeah, on the stream. So there's no title bar above this window that you see there. See the word file? You're on the stream, you're seeing, there we go. Now the title bar just showed up. All right, so that's kind of, you're getting a sample of what my problems are here. Just image settings with preview. What kind of things do you think I can tweak in here to fix it? Refresh rate? No. Is that a Windows or an NVIDIA bug? You know, I think it's NVIDIA is what I think it is. So now it's completely disappeared from my main screen, but I can see on the stream it's still here. So what's interesting is main screen, the window's up on my main screen, I don't see it. But on my view of what's I'm setting out on the stream, I can actually see the window that otherwise is invisible up here. So I'm moving the mouse up to where the title bar is, which I can't see up there. It looks like I'm about to click on Visual Studio. Like I can see only code behind that. And now I'm going to click on it. And now I can see it appear. Now I can drag it around. Let's try a no scaling mode. Let's just try doing that and hitting apply. Uh-oh, not good. Everything's being updated. That's totally, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And now I can't even close that. Oh, because it's not part of Windows. Hold on. It's about to revert back. I can see that. 3 seconds. Here we go. Let it revert back. How's the stream handling all this? Oh, it didn't revert back. Oh my gosh, I wish you could see what I'm seeing. I cannot take a screenshot. I can take a picture of it. Hold on. This goes against everything looks like the quality of my camera is not great. Wow. Oh, I think I know why my camera's not great, because I dumped my phone in water by accident. Oh yeah, that's really not good. A lot of damage. My phone went in water. It's an iPhone X, but I want to say aspect ratio. Let's go back to that. So interesting. What just happened? Let's go look at, look fine on the stream. Good. Glad to hear that. Did not change the flicker problem. Just making a small change here. Applying this right here. Okay, it's still stretching on my top monitor. My top monitor is totally stretched wide. Top monitor has the ability to do 250, 2560, I think, is the aspect ratio for the top one. It's one of these two. That one must be the bottom. This must be the top. Aspect ratio, full screen. No scaling, I guess, is what I want. Let's try applying that. Okay, no, it didn't change it. Okay, here's that problem. Oh my God. I'm so bad. My phone is destroyed. My camera is destroyed because of the water in it. Yeah, look at it. Look at the results. It's so bad. It looks like I'm actually literally underwater. Yeah. Also, weird stuff is happening here on my top screen. It's just like all kinds of crazy. No, not. But I was trying to take a picture of it with it, and that's when I noticed how bad my phone is. So, yeah, not good. There's Karen right there, everybody. Say hi. Say hi to Karen. Yeah, look at all this crazy flickering that's going on here. The screen is not currently set to the recommended resolution. I don't care. Close that. Why? But now my NVIDIA's totally screwed it up. This is the current res. Scaling. See what's happening? Look at as I move. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's totally stroke inducing. I guess I'm going to go to full screen and then I'm going to go back to aspect ratio. And I guess that'll be the end of me trying to fix this. Somewhere. Yeah, I know. Is this crazy? Hold on. This is it right here. Yes. Keep the changes. Close this. I'm getting another message on top. Then go back to aspect ratio. Choose apply. Yeah. So, oh, and it's not fixing it. So normally this is like not stretched out. So my top monitor is now suddenly totally stretched out. Fine. I'm just going to deal with it. And we'll keep going.
What is AF?
And what's the context of this, honey?
Deepwater says, I was also in AF.
Air Force, in that case. Yeah. So, unfortunately, yeah, it's flickering like crazy. Let me just try closing some stuff down. And see if we get any better here. All right, I totally was, oh yeah, I know where I was. I was like, get return index. So we had extracted this out to its own function. That's so stretchy and blurry. The code is so stretchy and blurry to me right now. I'm like, really, guys? What do I got to do to fix this? I think I just got to suck it up. That's what I think I got to do. I needed to check, I think, reverse where else this was used. Here. Advanced frame if necessary. And this is in part. Okay.
Coding is so boring.
Get back here. You're in trouble.
I'm not in trouble.
You're in trouble.
I'm not the one doing boring things and making other people watch my boring things.
You're in trouble.
I am
Wow.
exciting things and make people watch.
Jetsam says, hi, sex positive. Bye, sex positive. What he says, it's Jetsam and sex positive too. Yeah. Looks like the stream has got some glitches in it too now. And I wonder what's going on with that now. You're going to binge?
I'm going to binge on Netflix.
What are you going to binge?
End of the effing world. It's a show on Netflix and it feels like I'm going to
Feels appropriate. All right, super cool. You have fun with that. Yeah, so I'm not happy with my attempt to bring up my NVIDIA control panel and adjust things, because it has totally messed up my top monitor and doesn't seem to be able to fix that. It's that guy, right? Not this one. Says it should be. Why are you stretching out? That's really not what I want to see. I'm looking for something more like this. I tried this one more time. No scaling on it at all. Maybe that's what I should have done. Nope, it's still messed up. Perform scaling on the display, maybe the GPU. That looks bad, like a really, really bad idea. Yeah, I think it's not a changeable thing. It like got into it. The resolution of that monitor? Wait, is that right? LG, this is the Dell. The Dell is not at this resolution. What? Are you serious? It is at that resolution? What do you think its default resolution is over here? Let's see what happens there. Native resolution. Throw it at it. Where's my apply button? I do not see an apply button here. Now I've got an apply button. Huh. Doesn't look any different to me. Yeah, this looks like it's not working, and I'm super disappointed with this. What's my change resolution option here? That's where I want it to be. All right. Gonna just tough it out and be uncomfortable. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, and oh my God, is it crazy? So for you, it all looks good, but for me, it's this stretched out to here. So everything is blurry and a little bit hard to read. It's almost easier to read if I look at the stream than if I look up at the code up on top. Okay, trying to get back into where we were here. I wanted to look at where base animation.reverse was being used. Do we have to do the same thing with frame interval? No, we don't, because we set it here. Oh, yeah. We just have to do it for return frame index, because we're kind of recalculating it at this point. Okay. So restore frame, return frame index in case we overwrote it. And I think that's cool. The other thing I want to do is I want to, inside Sprite Proxy, I want to create essentially the ability to have a callback on advancing the frame. And do I want to do it on this? You know, it's interesting. I've done callbacks where it's just one where I signed it, but when I did on-cycle callbacks, I actually created the ability to have multiples, which added all this code, which is okay, right? It's more flexible, but in reality, I'm really not I'm unlikely to have that. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to say on frame advance, I'm going to do the same thing. It's more code, but it is, it's more interesting. And now what I want to do here is I want to pass in one more parameter here. Frame index. And I think one more parameter actually, reverse, whether we're going forward or backwards. Is that enough? Do I want to also pass in return frame index? And maybe also the end frame, end segment, end frame index. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So the sprite, what index it's on. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through. I don't think anybody's calling that. That one ended up not working for me. I wasn't able to find the one originally added. So we would need a different mechanism to remove, but we do have this remove all. So we call this add on frame advance callback on frame advanced, and we need all of the parameters here. Okay, and hey buddy, how you doing? Welcome Codebase Alpha. Glad you're here. Just doing a little bit of Wednesday code in here. All right. On frame advanced callbacks, looks like I missed this important bit right here. Okay, on cycle callbacks, let's go keep going, find out where we're calling them. cycled. So I need a frame advanced. And so looks like I'm gonna report this out as a code rush. The Rhino's following the music beat, or was. Cool. Frank, welcome, buddy. Glad to have you with us. Let's see here. Frame advance. We need to get the rest of these pieces here. We're going to pass into it. Like that. Then we're going to say, we're going to go to our on frame advance callbacks. Okay, I don't think I need the now here. Looks like cycled, I don't need the now either. Let's go remove that. Oops, we got a super.
Genesis 7, where are you?
Now.
We need your help. I have.
Okay, so we're not using it here, but that's okay. We're using it in Descendants, so that's all right. So frame advanced. I don't think I need to add the time to this. I think these are the pieces of data I'm going to need. Now we need to call frame advanced at the right time. It's going to be somewhere inside of advanced frame. And I think it's somewhere around here. But I think I want to make sure that I want to save my frame index at the beginning. And I only want to call it if we've actually changed it. So I want to say original frame index is equal to that. And then I want to compare these a little later and say, hey, if original frame index is not equal to this frame index, then I want to call this dot frame advanced, pass in the frame index. Do I have I don't think I want to call it from here. I want to get outside of here. Call it from outside of here. Hold on a second. kids. I see some messages I've missed in the chat room. Let me go. I'll take a look in the window in just a second. Frame index is there. Advanced frame. Down at the bottom. That's where I wanted to be. All right, let's go back. All right, so if the original frame index is not equal to the sprite frame index, then we're going to say this dot frame advanced, and we're going to say sprite dot frame advanced. Yeah, is this feeling like we're in the wrong place? Where the heck is frame advanced? That's in sprite proxy. Since we're using the sprite's frame index, I think I'm going to get rid of that as a parameter to it. Yeah, and I'm going to get rid of this because it's the frame index is on the sprite itself. This frame index right there. Get rid of it here. Get rid of it here. Okay, I think I did it. Got all rid of all those places. Jump back, jump back. Okay, so my end frame index is going to be my return frame index here is where this is going to be. No, wait. Return frame index here. The end frame index, I've not actually tracked that, but I think it might be useful to find out how close we are to the end that we're moving to. So I think that's going to say, that's going to be end frame index is equal to maybe I'm not going to pass that in, actually. I'm going to take that one out too. Hold on, let's catch up with the messages here. I want to get rid of end frame index and just pass in reverse is what I want to do. So end frame index, we're losing you. Okay, let's catch up. Just some win fanfare. Wait. What the show needs is more fanfare. Yeah, when the fanfare is rocking. Kobe Self says, we're lacking lasers and explosions. There's no such thing as enough fanfares. It's been a frustrating day at work. Oh no. Indeed, Codebase Alpha. Jetsam says to Codebase Alpha. Oh no, why is that? Issues with accessing Azure resources because they are too locked down is the main thing. Is Roy up for the Digital Puppet idea? I haven't talked to Roy. I totally need to check in with him and see how he's doing, make sure he's safe and okay. I'll do that after the show. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Because when he said I'm not going to be here next week, I don't think he was planning on not being here because of crazy stuff. I think it was going to do something else, like taking the week off or something like that. Hey, Rory, just checking in. Are you and your family safe? And do you need anything? Like that. Today's Wednesday. They're closing the Costa Rican borders today to non-residents and foreigners. Basically, no one's getting in tonight. It's about 12 hours from now. So it's kind of has a psychological impact, I think, a little bit. This is not my native country. I'm not a native here, or I'm not even a resident. So it's a little bit like, uh-oh, I feel a little bit trapped. I think I'm going to feel it tonight. I'm going to be like, So I think, here's the deal. I think Rory's totally up for the idea. That's, assuming everything's good and he's safe and all of the basics that we take for granted are satisfied. If he, and if all of those are the case, I think he's totally open for it. I'm actually loving some of the ideas I've had for the puppet. I have ideas for the puppet to be able, I want to give it glasses. I don't think Rory actually wears glasses. I'm not sure if he does or not, but I want to have it do this with the glasses, like a little bit of a, kind of animation like that at times. I want to give it a lot of character. And I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be really fun. And I think, like I said, I think we have totally, we have everything we need to make this work in terms of resources, bandwidth, all of that. So, all right, so I think I've got this. Now at this point, I've only changed the engine. So what I want to do is I want to come in, let's go back here, and let's just see if things still kind of seem to work. So we'll refresh this. Wait, what are you asking? Because of the virus or because people are being too stubborn about it? Oh, yeah, I think are you talking about why is is Costa Rica locking down? I think it's because of the virus. If was that the question they're putting. The Rory update. Well, yeah, I've asked him, and we'll see what he says. Hopefully, we'll get some good news from him soon here. I'm going to close this piece of garbage down, and let's bring up our control app. I guess we can start out by just hitting the show sprinkle to see if sprinkles shows up. I'd call that a good sign. You got a little flicker there, but no big deal because we've got that delay load on demand for the background images so that we can have a fast refresh. Let's try again. See if it's smoother this time. There you go. He's in and he's an idle. Walk left. Should take off soon. I feel like I clicked it. Oh, there it is. I did. It just took a long time. I guess I did it right at the beginning of the idle animation. Walk right. I actually want to kind of fix that so we have... So here's an example. If I'm walking left and I hit a walk right, that's when I want to come in and say, oh, let's do a reverse immediately. And as soon as we get out of that, switch to the other one. That's kind of what I want to do. It's a little tricky what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, I did find it, Frank. The bug, so the bug Frank is talking about is there was a, whoops, hold on. Windows think I shook the screen and it hit all my windows for me. It would be nice if there was a undo key for that. Yeah, so the bug was Sprinkles would walk on screen, and as Sprinkles switched from one animation to another, there would be a frame that wasn't drawn. And I'll show you where the problem was on that. It is in, I think, update positions in here. Update positions. Is that it? That's in Sprinkles. No, wait, that's the horn body pair. Hold on. Keep going. Find update positions. It. Pretty sure there's something else in here. And Sprinkles, that's what the one I want. Well, I thought that was the one I wanted. It's DQ animations. So here's the deal. We go to draw, and in the process of drawing, we would DQ the animations. The animation would go into look into the animation queue and then call add animation. Add animation would come in and say, let's call add shifted. Add shifted would come in here and say, well, let's create a new color shifting sprite proxy. Fine. That would come in here and call this constructor, which would call it super. The super constructor, where am we now? We're in sprite proxy, would be here, and it would pass in the lifespan of -1 as the whatever, and it call it super. And in its super, we would set time start equal to performance.now. All right? Everything seems okay. The problem was, if we go way out to sprinkles here, we've added these now. This is inside editing the animation, right? If I come all the way back out to where we were, DQ animations, right? Notice that drawing has the time we want to draw coming in here. That's the now. And so DQ animations would go in and create the new instances of the next thing to animate, but its birth date, its start time would be the new now, which was a few, less than milliseconds. It was a few hundredths of a millisecond later than the current time here. And the problem is when we went into draw, where's draw? Here it is, right here, horn body pair. So we go into draw, and then we go into both the body and the horn, and we try to draw those. And we get down in here, we get into this question is, are we alive? And is now greater than time start. And this was failing because my now was not greater than time start because I created them a little bit afterwards inside the draw method, which is kind of okay to do. So my workaround was, to go back into, if we kind of jump out here, inside DQ animations, I passed in now. And if you look at the code that changed, I pass in now to add animation. And now, after I create it, I reset the time start. And these are the 2 lines of code needed to remove the flicker. That's what was going on. So, a little bit, it was a little bit hard to find that, to understand what was happening, because, whenever you're doing animations or things involving a big chunk of time and there's a problem in a small little bit, it's tricky to hone in on that. But that's what it was. Yeah, time is always tricky. Yeah, you find that. Congrats. Yeah, thanks. Once I found it, I was like, oh, good. Thank goodness. Yeah, because it's like those kinds of bugs can be either never found, right? They just destroy you, destroy your spirit, defeat you, or they take a long time to find. And thankfully yesterday, it was like one of these, I had to stop work about an hour early because I had to go take a kid to a doctor's appointment and bring him back. And so did that, had dinner. Then I checked in with my family. I said, guys, you okay if I go back and look for a bug? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I went back in, looked for the bug, and it was in about like 20 minutes. So instead of it being an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever. And, the other problem with these kinds of bugs is if you can't see them, you often spend a lot of time building the diagnostics tools so that you can kind of start to see them. And that's tricky as well, right? It's time intensive, right? You're often spending a lot of time building a tool that's only going to tell you it's not here. And so now you got to rethink, where's my tooling? Where's the part I can't see? But the thing is, once I saw that, once I was able to get to a breakpoint right there at the spot when it wasn't drying, by the way I got that, and it was just a hunch, right? But I was like, the way I got that is if you look at my new draw methods now, let's go find one of these draws. I got a ton of them. Let's go in sprite proxy. Take a look at that, or sprites. Here's one in sprites. Draw is now returning a number. And what I was doing is I was returning the number of actual sprites drawn. And because the theory was, we're not drawing anything in this drawing sequence, in this time frame. That was my theory, and it was coming back at 0. And I was like, well, at least now I've got a breakpoint. If I call my draw method and nothing is drawn, I've got my breakpoint. So this was my diagnostics code I added, and I kept it because I actually kind of like it. So every draw method, every single override of this thing, although not using the result, will tell me how many sprites were actually drawn in that sequence right there. And so that's what's going on here. And so I totally know that now. So that was the diagnostics I had to do. So all of that took about 20 minutes to figure out and do. And once I got it, I was like, awesome. So that's what was going on with that. That's the story behind that. So now I want to try and use that with the idle animation is what I want to do. So, you know, I don't know how well this is going to work, kids, but let's give it a shot. So I'm just looking at it right now, and I'm looking at the ears. The ears have a very distinctive kind of pattern to them. And I'm almost wondering, should I look for the frame advance just as I'm about to go into them and maybe consider a reverse instead of going into that distinctive pattern, going back to the beginning. And when I hit the beginning, and then I can just go in, the animation I think will go in reverse pretty well. And so I'm thinking about doing things like, okay, as I'm going to change directions, maybe I slow down the frame interval as I get closer, and then I switch back around. So the idea is to kind of cue up changes to the idle to make it look a little bit different. That's kind of what I'm playing with in my mind. I've got zero spec on this. Always, as always, you know, we got this one. No idea. And then, you know, the other piece is that we pretty much achieve everything on this show using school's closing starting Friday in the UK. Yeah, well, it's definitely not too soon for that. Definitely, you know, close that stuff down. That's what you want to do. Close it down. Yeah. So let's see what we got here. The other thing I want to do, I think, too, is, you know, Codebase Alpha says, be right back. Okay, Codebase Alpha, we'll see in a minute. Let's do this. Let's start with something easy. It looks like everything's still working. Let's also check.
Willie Shaker.
Do I need to test in other places here? I'm wondering. Let's just do a couple more tests of the I just want to test in the animations in the updated piece to make sure everything is still working as expected.
Lady. Working.
So I'm actually not seeing these. I'm seeing them on the stream, but I'm not seeing them here, which I'm expecting to see them here.
Willie.
Have we lost something? Have we lost some functionality? What happens if I enter combat? Okay, so in entering combat, the clock is updating correctly, right there. But the scroll does not appear to be working anymore on the back channel of this.
Bushwhacker.
Why is that? How did we break it? And how do we break it without any errors? Is also my... Yeah, no errors. What do we got here? What are our changes? Let's... No, Roy's not going to make it today, unfortunately, Pudding. Roy's taking the week off, is my understanding. He said he wasn't going to be able to make it this week. I did not ask him specifically why. So we have broken something here. That's good. We can stage that guy. Pretty sure we don't need that. Stage that one. We don't need that. And now we're looking at these two places right here. So we've got get return index called there. What's really weird, this is like doesn't make any sense. Oops, we got a bug right here. That line of code needs to get away, get out of there. This may actually be the bug that's causing the problem, actually. Are we actually calling frame advance? Let's look at that. Frame advance. That's wrong. Right there. We need to take that bit out. And are we calling this, was my question. We are calling this. Okay. That could be the problem. Let's refresh here on this guy. Okay. Let's initialize the player data again. Okay. Let's
It's Judy.
there we go. Looks like we fixed it. Just got some delay loading coming in there with the pieces, but looks like that's good. And let's see if she can do fine seed. Nice. Looks like it's still delay loading some of the special effects there for it. I think it was not really a performance issue. Let's look again. Okay. Let's go bring up the spells and pick another spell to show. Cool. 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 All right, yeah, so good. Good. Let's refresh the drone game, I think. So I'm going to refresh the pieces on the stream. So let's gonna stop our music for a second. Good, that was a nice fast refresh. I like that. Here comes the music back. There we go. If we hide Fred for a second, yep, we can see the boombox in the back. We see the coin spinning around. If I pull out a drone, start to fly it, that works. Up, right, it all looks like it's working. Okay, good. So we made some changes to the engine. We had one bug in there, but we found that using the difference. So good. I'm also glad, by the way, that we did that comparison, right? And we did that test just as soon as we made the change, right? And what was interesting is that some things were still working, like Sprinkles was still animating, but the other parts were not. And it was this have cycled piece that is so important here, that we had this extra line of code in frame advance, just because we'd copied this code and put it down here. So there is that fix. So now I'm not going to use this change I just made yet. I want to do one other thing that I think is a little simpler first, and that is I want to go from this animation to the graze animation sometimes. And so I want to do that. So let's go in to Sprinkles, And I think I've got an on cycled. Let's go find it. Okay. There's my piece right there. And I think what I want to do now is I want to say, hey, what's the execute next command? If the command queue length is 0, I want to set a breakpoint here. And we should get to it. Maybe we have to show sprinkles first. Let's show sprinkles. So we haven't shown sprinkles yet in this space right here. So let's click the button to show sprinkles. Here it comes. There's sprinkles. We're going to get this breakpoint in a second, I think. In a second, about now. Good. Let me clear the breakpoint in a second and run it again. I felt like I saw a flicker there that I shouldn't have seen. Let me try one more time. Show sprinkles. Did not see a flicker that time. Maybe it was imagination. I don't think it was delay loading because it should have all been loaded. Okay, so it looks good. Let's hit the breakpoint again. And when this idle animation ends, it should come in here to the breakpoint. And I think what I want to do now is I want to do something like this. Make a call to this dot... do something creative. Like that. And then return. And then let's implement it there. And I think what I want to do is I want to check what the state is. Does this really make sense to do here? Hold on. Last animation cycled. I just want to store that name. So I want to come in here and say this dot last animation cycled is equal to, and I'm going to say whatever that sprite name is, like that. So I'm going to do that. Then now I can do something creative here. I can do a question on based. I can maybe use that there. Let me hit run on this, by the way, just so we get our music coming back in. We'll keep making changes to the code. We'll refresh in a little bit. I want a switch statement on the state. And let's go grab sprinkle state.idle. So if we're idle, then I think I want to say, hey, if last animation cycled and so it's got some data in it, and last animation cycle dot starts with, and it starts with sprinkles dot idle. So if we're idle and the last thing we did was idle, then I think I want to say, hey, if, well, for now, we'll just go in and do it. We're going to say add command is what I think I have. This dot add command. Add animations. How am I adding to the command queue? Just manually? Just manually. Okay. So we'll say this dot command queue dot push, and we'll say sprinkles dot graze, which is grazing the grass. So if we're in idle and the last thing we did that, we're going to do this. Otherwise, we're going to say, hey, if last animation cycled, if not last animation cycled, or if last animation cycled starts with sprinkle.graze, Then we're going to go right into sprinkles.idle, like that. So that's like my first attempt at kind of switching this up over here. So do something creative. So when it ends, if we're idle, we're going to go to graze, and if we're at graze, we're going to go to idle. I actually want to change this to percentage, give it odds of doing it, but let's refresh it now and see what works. So I'm going to refresh this right now. If I add something to the command queue, I think, is it fair to say, should I call execute command at the end of this? If command queue.length is greater than 0, then I'm going to say this.execute next command. So come back in and give it one more shot. Try that. Okay, one more time. Refresh. All right, show sprinkles. Got some flickering coming out. That's still the old overlay right there. This one, you should see sprinkles. Oh, cool, we went into a graze. All right, let's look at this again. Nice, going into a graze. Is it a smooth transition out? I thought I saw a jump. Yeah, there's a jump. So oh yeah, there's a jump going in too. The graze is offset by a bit. The graze is going backwards by about, hard to tell how many frames. I mean, how many pixels? Especially since this is not at 100%. So let's take a screenshot here. So here's what I did. I've got a screenshot of, looks like the idle, I think. And now we're going to get a screenshot when he goes into the graze. And let's overlay them. Make sure I got that. There you go. So now we can see what the differences are right there, right behind me here. So I just want to measure that distance from there to there, and that's what we need to adjust with the graze animation. Hold on, the rectangle. Just going to come in here from there to there, copy, paste it, get its information. It's 31 pixels. Okay, so we're off by 31 pixels on our graze animation when we load it. So let's go find it when we're loading the graze. Here. So we either need to subtract 31 here, or we need to add 31 to that. I'm going to try subtraction now first, and we'll see what happens. Refresh it. Suppose I should be able to calculate that, but I'm like I'm going to take a guess, because I know if I guess wrong, it's the other one. It's not going to take too long to get that answer. Kind of fun to see just the horn floating. Okay, here we go, one more time. That didn't seem to have any effect at all. It didn't seem to move it in to the right or the left. Let's switch it to the plus here and see what happens here. All right, let's refresh it. If these don't work, I'm going to all right, show sprinkles. We got some flickering as we're kind of lazy loading the images here. No impact. What am I getting wrong here? Fadula says not the biggest fan of TypeScript. I am not the biggest fan of TypeScript, but that's a true statement. But I'm a fan of TypeScript. I will say that. What I'm not figuring out here, so this is the origin here. So the origin of the grays. Let's look at this carefully here, and we'll try to figure out. So at least we know which direction to go here. The grays, he jumps back. So the origin needs to move to the right for him to go forward. So that means it needs to be a plus, I'm pretty sure. Let's double check what goes on inside of here. The origin here, yep, just flat out is added to it. Okay, good. So it should be a plus. And it should be that distance from there to there. The plus should do it. Let me empty cache and hard reload. I don't know. That should all work. I'm not sure why it's not working. Let's show sprinkles. There's still a kind of a glitchy jump. And is it the same distance? What's going on here? Hold on. There's my screen. Wait, let's get the screenshot right here. Okay, there's my start screenshot. That's an idle. Do the new file here. And let's do the second one when he goes to grays, right about now. Okay. Now let's paste that on top of this. What are we doing here? Same distance? Yeah. Why did that make any change? It's about 30. Yeah, that's 30. 30 pixels across. Am I really going to take this to 61 now? Doesn't make any sense. Maybe I had it wrong. Let's just give it a shot. Refresh it. Maybe my screenshots were in the wrong places. I don't know. Show now. Something is fundamentally wrong with my understanding of the game engine and the code we're looking at if this doesn't fix it. Looks like it didn't. I think I saw it jump just as it was coming in. So it has it right here. Yeah, there we go. The grays is too far back. What's happening with the origin? These should be having an impact. I am almost suspecting, okay, I'm almost suspecting we're not getting the changes. And that my original 31 here was correct. And that the changes are not actually coming in. Let's just set a breakpoint here and do a refresh. We're going to get that data. So origin is 123 plus 25 and 31 is going to make that about, what are we at? 58, sorry, 48, 49, 79. 179 is what we should see inside. Origin X is 179. Okay, it seems like it's working. That should all be right. Let's show sprinkles one more time. Yeah, the origin should actually totally get in the right spot. It looks like it didn't. It looks like it jumped backwards again. I'm closing it down. It's still a hunch. My hunch is that even though we're seeing the right data here, that there's still something wrong. So I'm shutting it down. Let's see, what else do I need to do? I need to close down a few other things here. We've just lost control of the window as well. We want to get back into, we need to restart a few things. So the on-stream overlays are going to be temporarily disabled. Let's kill every instance of Chrome. Done. Start up here. I think this is going to work. That's my hunch. My hunch is that sometimes Chrome gets in a state where code changes. What? What? Okay, not signal. We're not going to worry about that. Hold on a second. What was my real error, though? What? Okay. That shouldn't have been there. That needs to go to Dragon Back Game. Also one of the changes I made. Dragon Back Game. Okay. Load resources. I'll come in and put that line of code there. All right. Interesting that that still worked. That's JavaScript. That's a little frightening that the code still worked with the clock and all of that. What other errors do we have? Just the same space. Okay. Run one more time. I don't need that. Trying to clear that breakpoint. There we go. All right, things are loading back up. Mr. AnnouncerBot is here at our service. Let's clear this breakpoint for now. Let's, on the main stream, I'm going to refresh the pieces on the main stream. Front overlay, dice layer, the back overlay. Let's run our D&D app. Visualize player data. That's kind of interesting. On the main stream, we're not seeing the rest of the scroll window. Why is that? Seriously?
Willie Shaker nuts.
Like, what is going on? Let's go find out here. Here it's working, and on the stream it's not? Are you kidding me? Now it's working on the stream. Oh, we just delay loading? Is that what happened?
Working.
Maybe we just hadn't loaded those up yet. Okay, so let's go, let's kind of get out to the far bottom right here. Let's bring in sprinkles. And let's see if that transition to the grays is smoother. Nope, it's still bouncing a bit. It's as if the origin isn't working. Although it does seem like it's a smaller bounce, to be honest. Let me set a breakpoint here. I mean, not a breakpoint. Let me take a picture of that. Let's see if it is a smaller bounce. Or is it just the 30 frames? Not 30 pixels, I mean. Okay. As soon as this one comes back up, it's still inside of it. Nope, not too late on that. There. Okay. Here we go. Nope, that looks like 30 frames. Is it possible? What is that at right there? That's 26. Let's look at this a second. Let's look at the actual assets on a disk. Could it be? I thought I played these back to back. I did. When I had these in Adobe Premiere, I played them back to back. And they were smooth, as I recall. Sprinkles, idle. So the beginning and end of idle look like this. So we just open that up. They essentially are very close to that one right there. And the beginning and ending of gray should be exactly the same. Yeah. Hold on. So this is grays. I'm just copy this to clipboard, come over to idle, and I'm going to paste it on top as another layer. Yeah, it's definitely in a different position. That makes sense right there. But we're seeing it as if it's using the exact same origin, right? If we come in here and we look at this difference, hasn't the move gotten smaller by 6 pixels? No, it should have been gotten smaller by 31. The 25 was what was there before. So this is 33 pixels right here. Oh wait, but this is based on, hold on. This is based on Battle Cry. I think I know exactly what's going on here. Hold on. The first one I built was Battle Cry. And so all of these are based off of the Battle Cry's origin right here. So here, origin X and Y are for Battle Cry, not for idle. So what I need to do is for grays, I need to look at what idles is, which is origin X minus 6, like this, and then add 31 to it. But ow, I actually had it as that because it was originally plus 25. It was actually correct. Because it would needed to be this minus 6 plus the delta. Oops, where's the delta? The delta is right in here, which is 33 pixels about 33 pixels. So if I come in and I say 33 pixels and I have a minus 6 plus 33, I get to about plus 20 something, 25 or 26, 27. Let's do something crazy. Let's put up to 225 and refresh. I think it's going to have no effect. For some reason, the origin is having no effect on that animation, is what it feels like is happening. Is this thing going to move at all? Show sprinkles. It should be much further away when it goes into grays. But I think it's still going to have that small little jump. Yeah, it looks like it still has a small jump. Yeah, it's by the same amount. It should be much bigger, 200. So what's going on with Grays' origin? Let's take it over to here, like this. Why isn't its origin being considered when we move? That's the bug we need to find. One more time. This is with 2000. Okay, there's the Grays. He's pretty close. He should be far, far away. He should be off screen. Yeah. So, okay. So even though our value was correct, it does not appear to be being used. The question is, why does everything else seem like it's totally working? Right? Idle to attack, idle to walk, all of those together seem to be working. Sprinkles Grays. What is going on? So Sprinkles Grays is a string. And so when I create a new horn body pair, I'm passing in that string name, that folder name. That name is also the name of the folder that the files are in. So Grays, where is it? Right here. That's that folder name, Grays, is also the name of that horn body pair. So I can find it. That horn body pair's got an origin X and origin Y that are set as specified. That origin X and Y are used when drawing the frames of animation. So if I say I want his X and Y to be at this location, could there be some other code going on here that's shifting him, moving him around? Let's use that as our current theory here. Sprinkles. Let's go find Grays here. Something crazy going on there? Let's look at this. Q velocity change, yeah. Ooh. This might be it. Q velocity change. Put something out into the queue, the velocity queue. Then when we dequeue those, where are we dequeuing those? Dequeue velocity deltas. We're calling change velocity, and we're doing this assignment right here. Start X is equal to X. But we're changing from idle to Grays, which have different offsets. I think this is the problem space right here. I think the workaround is this. Is before I load that, in that do something, let's see, do something creative. I think it's that. I think that might fix it. Q velocity change. Are we going to get that velocity change in? Is it going to go faster though? Hold on. Or maybe instead of queuing the velocity change, I just assign it. And I say, Maybe I have to do it here. Okay, this is my hope, is that this is going to fix this. So I'm going to say my velocity is 0, and the time is, oops, I can see that that's on 9. Let's change it to 0, and the time is, I'll just say this. Do I have a now when I'm calling this? I do not. Okay. So I'm going to try that. Let's refresh. Yeah, so the original 25, I think, is close to being the right value there. 25, 27, somewhere in that space. So yeah, I think the origin is offset is working, but the thing is, problem is we're saying your left is now this before anything else is happening. All right. Nope, it's still. Okay. I still think that we're close to the problem, is what I think we are. The X. Now I'm not so sure anymore. Okay, so that didn't work. We got to get to the right place to break through this and see kind of what's happening here. I guess we'll start with like this. Let's do a refresh. Try to get some data on this. We should hit this breakpoint by now. Oh, we need to show sprinkles out. Here comes sprinkles. Okay. So my this.x is 1194. That shouldn't really matter. So I'm going to push the command queue in. I'm going to let that line of code go. Then we're going to come back into execute next command. And I'm feeling that this x is okay. So the state is equal to idling and Q velocity change, performance now. It's just setting those values. Break, Q animation. And we're going to Q animation the grays. Just getting that out of there. And that just puts it in the animation queue, which just got one element inside of it. EQ animations is here. So we're going to run through that. Now we're in this, add animation. Velocity X is 0. So we're calling this .change velocity again. The X should be okay because that X offset, the origin should move it off to the side. If we go in here, we should be able to see that origin right there. The origin X is 148. What's the name here? It's Gray's, okay. Gray's body. We can take out that comment because we've actually done that. Actually, let's leave it there for a second. So now we have body in here. Origin X 148. I wanted to check that against what we were expecting before with so if I go into parts here and I look at idle body, origin X is 117. So let's look at that. So idle origin X equals 117. That's what I think we just saw. Where is it? Idle is there. Go into body. Origin X is 117. Gray's is here. And Gray's origin X is 148. And the difference between the two of these is about 31. Like that. So, okay. That's looking all correct and right to me. If we look at the size of this thing we measured, we got about 33. So a difference of about 2 pixels. That's essentially it, the 31 difference. If we look at where we set it up in here, I think there's, if I search for plus 25, like that, we can see it. There's the idle as a -6. This is plus 25, so it's a difference of 31. Jacoma says, I just noticed that TypeScript is being written in Visual Studio. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm having fun. We're having fun. We're in Visual Studio. I've also got CodeRush loaded. CodeRush is a product that we make at we make that at Dev Express, and I'm live dog fooding CodeRush here in Visual Studio. Do it 4 days a week, and we work on a gaming engine, kind of a graphics engine right here. You can see Sprinkles, the Battle Unicorn, off to the side, but there's this. Wait a second. Is it? Yeah, no, it's jumping as well here, as well on the on this one too. It's jumping. So why is it jumping is the thing we're trying to figure out here. So those offset X's are correct. They're what I want it to be. What I want it to be. Let's look at this again. Let's see if we can get them up here so we can see them to verify parts. That's what I think we were at. And then inside of parts, we wanted to look at idle, which is number 3, or index 3, dot origin. Can I get to origin X? No. Dot body, dot origin X. And that's 117. Dot body, dot name, so we can see it. Nope, It's just parts3.name, I guess. So that's idle. And then I want to do the same thing with this, but with 4. Wait, is it not 4? I don't think it's 4, is it? No, that's idle to attack. Which one is Grays? Grays is 2. Okay. Yeah, it's a really strange, weird problem where this one fails and every other one seems to work. Okay, so there's my origin X's for both of these right here. For my idle, it's 117, and for my Grays, it's 148. The difference between the two is about 31. And if we come in here and we look at the X position here for body, well, let's look at that. So this, at this point, when I say parts3 body, that's my idle body list, and it then has a property I think called sprites. And we could access 0, and I think there's nothing here. I think, if I'm right on that. But if we go to number 2, right, which is Grays, if we've done this right, we got something cool. We got a color shifting sprite proxy right there, which is what we're expecting. And if we go to its X value, that might be important to know. New car. Think we're going to give away a new car today?
You know what time it is?
That's right, kids. It's time to give away a...
It's a brand new car!
No, it's not. It's a...
Dance Battle!
All right, kids. I want you to do your best dancing over there, wherever you are. And we'll let Mr. Announcer Guy pick a winner.
You won!
You won! There you go. All over the place. I don't know. My hunch now is this X position is jumping. We're at 1046 right now, so we should write this down, I think is what we should do. This is our 2 is Grays, right? Yes. So my X position when we go to the Grays, when we go, what were the fireworks for? Asked Jetsam. Just playing around. I said you won. When we go to the Grays, the X position is 1046. I suspect the X is actually jumping for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't think it's a problem with the low-level engine, because we really didn't change that. I want a car? Sweet! Twitch cannot handle Mark's awesomeness. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Twitch can handle it. Twitch is going to have to handle it. You're going to have to take it, Twitch. Let's see here. I want to go. I actually want to find out what the other guy is. I'm going to just run it. Not sure why I got a breakpoint there. Not sure why I got a breakpoint there. Run it. Okay, so here's the data we got so far. We got it's 1046 when we go to Grays. So that is the Grays. That's for Grays. It's 1046. What I want to do is find out what is the X position just before we go to Grays. So I need to get that breakpoint re-enabled back in here for sprinkles. That was in our do something interesting, I think. Right in here. Okay, we're at the breakpoint, and now at this point I want to kind of go to the watch window. And this time, I want to notice we've got a slight difference here. Now, this one should work. And it says it's 1194. . What? Now I'm like, what? That's like off by 150. I get all that right. 3 is idle. I'm like confused. I'm just like totally confused here. Why are we out so far to the right for our idle? We've got no velocity on this thing that I know of. It doesn't, it's not moving. Let's run it again. Let's see what we get to. Oh, I should have put it. I need another breakpoint, I think. Let's set a breakpoint right here. Let's go look at the watch values that we've got. Let's refresh it. Not available. Can I refresh this? Or is it just simply that? Now it says it's 1194. All right, let's step through the code as it creates a new one. We can go ahead and keep this right here. Let's go to add shifted right here. And set a breakpoint down here. Run. Okay. Let's go look at this. And here, let's look at, just grab body. Not available. Why is it not available? Oh, it's a sprite proxy. It's an actual sprite proxy. Sorry, my bad. Well, okay. What's kind of interesting, I just noticed, is we jumped down to 1046 somehow in this process. What's my this.x? It's still 1194. Let's look at one more time here at adding grazed here. I hate bugs like this, by the way, kids. I'm like, seriously? All right, so origin x plus 25 is 148, which is right. Yeah, that's the origin x there. That one's right. We already confirmed that one is correct. That's where we want it to be. Something's changing with the x position somewhere. To here. So if we're adding the graze is 148. This minus 148 gets us to, yeah, the 146 as its x position. So that also seems to make sense. So actually, I'm thinking at this point, we might actually be okay with our 1046 out there. Well, let's go look at this. Is this a property? Nice. Let's set a breakpoint here. See if we get to that. What's my new value coming in? 1194. I think I'm already there, aren't I? I'm at 1194. Where am I calling this from? Update position. Oh, I see. Start X. Do I need to modify my start X when I switch from one to another? That doesn't really make sense to me. What if I did this? If velocity X is equal to 0, I'm a little bit nervous about this, but return, because there's essentially no work to do there. DQ velocity deltas, change velocity. We're changing the start X. I feel like the problem is in this space here. That's kind of what I feel like it. Let's give it a shot. Clear my breakpoints. Actually, maybe let's not. Okay, run. Clear that breakpoint. And refresh. I think the problem is we're taking the start. It's gosh, would that make sense there? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Yeah, now I'm starting to think this is not going to solve that. Did that seriously just solve it? Yeah. All right, that solved it. Let's fix it on the main stream. What the heck in jelly beans, as my daughter used to say. Here we go. What the heck in jelly beans? Let's initialize the player data. I'm going to move this off to another monitor. Initialize player data. All right. It's kind of interesting when there's been this kind of follow this bug. Some interesting bugs have kind of shown up with this. All right, here comes Sprinkles. Now Sprinkles is a little bit jumping in and out here. There we go. There's the grays. Cool. Cool. All right, so now we're just going back and forth between the two animations. Now what I want to do is I want to start playing with that adjustable frame rate. And the first thing I want to do on the adjustable frame rate is, let's go find it, do something creative. Right there. So my command queue is just a bunch of strings, isn't it? Let's maybe change it so not be strings, but instead be I think I'm going to create something with a little more detail on it. So I can specify an animation, but I can also specify a all right, so let's consolidate and refactor this a little bit here. We're going to do this. We're going to change this to add command. Clear it. Like this. Return a big fat void. Same thing over here, void. We don't need that. Return anything. So add command is there. Now I'm going to go through Command Q. Look everywhere I'm working on Command Q, and I'm going to change it to this.command.add, like that. And do the same thing down here. So Command Q.push is what I'm looking for. Savage Bar, I love the color cycling on the horn. Thanks. Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on. It's actually, I think, going to look really cool and beautiful. I think there's a. This is Sprinkles, the Battle Unicorn. Here you can see our intro screen Sprinkles. It's like this. And the particle effects coming out the horn, we're going to do that here too. That's what I intend to do. And we'll do that. Sprinkles will be able to cry, big tears, big crocodile tears, be able to get angry, that sort of thing. So we're putting character into this animated puppet right here. Let's keep looking for that push call on Command Q. Shift, this one's got to be something like this. We're going to need a get command here. So let's create a function that returns a string. For now, at least we'll call it get next command. Like that. And we're going to say return. And let me just comment that out for a second. Get next command. We're going to say return that. Okay, so there's our command Q, and all I'm doing is I'm just going finding all the direct references to Command Q, and I'm changing them to kind of wrapped up isolated calls. That's going to then allow us to then change that, refactor that structure pretty easily and quickly. That's what I'm looking for. So keep going through here. Like the coronavirus, he lurks silently, killing you into a false sense of security. But unlike Corona, he will happily attack everyone. Here's... Oh, who's coming? Somebody coming? Surly Dev, did we miss you? Did I forget to refresh the Dragon Brat back overlay? Is that your first time in today, Surly Dev? Damn phone, autocorrect. Hold on. Do I need to refresh the drone game? Are we not working? Let me see. Are we getting salvage bar fixed? Is that working? Oh, no, we are not working anymore. Let's go refresh the drone game. It's going to kill the music for a second. I think Surly Dev missed his intro. That was a quick refresh there. I love that. Fix is still not working. That means I think I need to shut things down and then restart them. Is that really true? Let me just try it a second. We did a couple of these going and stopping today. I'm going to just do this, do that. Give me a second here. Kill every instance of Chrome. Start up one more time. The overlays were refreshing pretty quickly, so maybe we'll be... this won't take too long to bring this all back here. Get the music going again. There's overlays starting up and running. Still starting up. Here's the D&D app. Here comes the overlay manager loading up here. And D&D app, we're going to start you. Let's go through. Mr. Announcer Bot says he's here. Start refreshing the overlays that we're working on for the Dungeons and Dragons live stream. Here's the 3D dice layer. Oh, wait, I should wait till the others refreshes are done. One of the things I've learned is if I try to refresh all these pages at once, I can kind of get into this strange locked up state. And looks like feels like I'm kind of there right now with refreshing the front overlay. Let's look at that one more time. Refresh it one more time, see if we get any better luck this time. Looks like that worked. Okay. Here come the 3D dice. We're looking for this scroll bar right here, which you can see right there on the right edge of the stream, for that one to go away. That's not bad. Refresh this one more time. Yeah, sometimes we get in this kind of weird kind of thing where it's like, I'm going to take a really long time to refresh. That was the most appropriate Mr. A comment given the time. Yeah, we almost made a show with Adam, but alas, no Surly Dev, just sauntered in. I love the cough there, Surly Dev, but get that checked, buddy. Stay indoors. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? All right, so let's see here. That's taken much longer than I wanted to take. This thing to go away right here, that scroll bar. Maybe let it keep going. Dare I go to the dragon back overlay and refresh that one as well. We're going to get rid of sprinkles. There's this one.
Fixed.
Yeah, it looks fixed. What's interesting is it gets to the state when CPU is not really maxed out. Visual Studio is pretty high though, 25%. I would call that pretty high. Everything else seems to be pretty reasonable. Try refreshing it one more time. Did it work that time? No scroll bars. Scroll bars went away. There we go. So you see what I'm talking about? I've talked about this before on the show. It gets into like a locked state on the refresh. And I totally don't understand it. And if I come in and try one more time, like this one is still locked. You can see the scroll bar here. And over here, you see the scroll bar over here. But if I come in and refresh it one more time, is it going to load up immediately with no scroll bar? Did it seriously just do that? I think it did. Now I can go click on initialize player data. And those 3 lines of text should go away on the stream above us. Only one did. That's not good. Dragon front overlay. I think I have to come in one more time and do it. Come on. Yeah, it's like a signal arc connection issue. And let's try one more time with that. Can we get rid of it this time? I'm just clicking on initialize player data again. Nope. Not going to go away. Let's try refreshing the drone game, because we need to refresh that to be able to get our music back. That looks like it's working. There we go. So that looks like it's working. Looks like I can hit the music button up here on my stream deck. And is music coming in? I think it is, but I'm not hearing it. It says available genres. Where is it? Oh, it's up. Good. Okay. Front overlay and the dice. I can just turn those off for now. We're really experimenting more with the back layer anyway. Okay. All right, Surly Dev, welcome. See what I do for you, buddy? Show sprinkles. Little flicker there, but don't worry about that. We'll do it again. Show sprinkles. Here we go. There's a little jump at the end there. One more time. Show sprinkles. So fixing the other bug caused this new bug? Jump. I'm going to give this more thought. The cool thing is the transition to grazing and then back up again is nice. So when we were looking at that bug, when we were saying we fixed the bug, it was I think it was a call to, I'm going to go backwards where we were here. We're doing a bunch of refactoring here. Let's get past all that refactoring. Let's actually see if Code Places can help us out here. All right, I'm going to report a code rush usability issue here because I'm like a little bit trying to figure something out here that's not making sense to me. So I'm over here in the global history. I've been working on this for a while, looking at the sort order here. I'm right-clicking to see if I can sort on these. There's no option to sort on them. In fact, even right-clicking on it looks like it is picking and selecting. So I think, first of all, the right-click is probably not the right choice on here. What I'm not understanding here, though, is when I click on, like, for example, update position here, like that. Wait, that's not working. If I click on add animation, there we go. There's the change. When it changes to another file, my global history completely updates. And I'm trying to figure that out. Why would it change? So if I go over, if I'm in Sprinkles right now and I jump over to Sprites, I'm in Sprites now, sorry. If I click on execute next command, watch what happens to the list. It's like this completely different list, even though it's called global history. I'm trying to figure that out. Why is that the case? Why is the order of this changing? Let me know. That's my code rush issue reported. Put the mouse on the right monitor. Code places, global history, order, change. What's happening there? Let me know. Your audience participation and inclusion is exemplary? I can't tell if you're mocking me or not because I don't think it's good, buddy. I think it's all right. Just leaving my mom's now with a disinfectant wipe in hand to clean handles as I live. Good job, guys. Yeah. We're gonna save the world here, kids. You and I. You and me. We're gonna wipe down those handles as we go. All right, sorry. I'm like I was trying to use this to go find the recent stuff that we have been working on. I'm trying to remember where we were when we took out a it was like a change velocity call that I think we removed. Where are you, Sprinkles? There you are. Where's the D&D game streaming? Asked Salvage Bar. I'll show you where it's streaming. We have not gone live yet, but we're going to go live very soon. Twitch.tv/Dragon Humpers. Right there. So go click that link, follow, and you'll see it. Sprinkles is a character on the game, and so we're working on that character now. I'm not sure if Sprinkles will be ready for Sunday's, what we think is going to be our debut performance on Sunday. Sunday night, but Sunday night American time, roughly somewhere between West Coast and East Coast time in the United States, or Central America, wherever you are. If you're outside of those ranges, it'll be like earlier or later. Q velocity change. Change velocity. Was it called a change velocity that we got rid of? Is there one that's commented out? I'm trying to figure out where we were. No, nothing commented out. Let's go look at our deltas. See what we can find here. In sprinkles, I think, except for we didn't check in or commit. Well, we did. We did. Cool. So these are more recent changes here since our last commit. Oh, we added this code to update position. This is what stopped the disruption. But when we're walking, that's not going to happen, and so we're still going to have the disruption. The problem is we're calling update position at the wrong time. So that means, okay, that's a huge clue. We need to kind of tamper down on when we're calling update position in sprinkles. Where are we calling it? We're calling it on draw. And it's almost like I think, hey, we only want to do it. Let's go into DQ animations a second. Hold on. Add animation. Okay, I got a new hunch on this. Here's my new hunch. We're going to do this here. That's my new hunch. I think that got a better shot at working. And then we're going to go into update position. We're going to get rid of this. That's my new hunch. Save it. Yeah, if this fixes it, that was a huge clue. All right, refresh. Click on test sprinkles, show sprinkles. There we go. Comes sprinkles. And sprinkles is, if you're just joining us, sprinkles is flickering because sprinkles is delay loaded. I got a good feeling about this one, just based on the, maybe not. I saw a jump off to the side. That's not working. I haven't given up hope yet. Oh, do I really want to do this here? It's really... Hold on, I'll look at that in a second. Codebase Alpha, give me a second. All right, if we get to here, here's my new proposal. If that, then this dot change velocity, passing in this dot velocity x. Nope, not velocity q, velocity x. And is there another parameter here? I think there is. The now. All right, what you got, Codebase Alpha? One to work on off stream, I think. You probably need some time away from the problem. Yeah, you know, look, fair. Let's give this a shot, and then we're going to get out of here. So the idea here is I'm calling change velocity with the exact same velocity in here, and all I'm trying to do is get start x equal to x, And so because I think I suspect that's part of the problem, is that we're calculating distances based on, yeah, I don't know. It's a shot. We'll see what's happening. I don't have a really strong understanding of it, but of the problem exactly, right? Because it's like this low level. Mark, sent you a whisper when you get a minute after the stream. Okay, buddy. We'll take a look at it. Don't show sprinkles. Want a smooth transition to grays. It looked like there was a bump a bit, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the bump is back. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have one of two bugs to choose from. If I update positions at the beginning. All right, hold on. I got one more guess at this. I got another guess. I know, is this driving anybody crazy? Like, Mark, just, okay. Let's create a, whoops, not a number. I want a Boolean. Now, double check this. Yeah, I know. This might be a little painful. You may not like this code too much here. You may not like it because I'm doing this, and then I'm like, oh, let me do it one more time. Although we could do it inside of DQ animations. That's what we could do. I don't know. I'm going to try that, give it a shot. If that doesn't work, we'll end the show. And I'll have to take some time away and think about it. Usually I'm a little smarter about when I should go do that, but for some reason today I'm like, I want to get this thing working. Yeah. A lot of, with this, it's interesting, with this character, adding this character to the game, this character that has these animations that then, during the cycle of them, yeah, no, it jumped. Yeah. So my choices are basically I think this one, which has a completely different bug in it. It's like it just jumps it off to the side. You see this, the first frame of the animation is just like chunk, and then it gets right back in again. All right, show sprinkles. I guess my choice of two different bugs. One is where I have the smooth transition, can play piece to piece with that jump between each one. I don't think he's jumping back and forth, is he? Oh no, he is jumping back and forth here still. Yeah, he's totally jumping back and forth. That one's not good. And this one, let's look at this one again. This is the one that I think also has a jump. Is that right? Just realized on the stream you're getting blocked. You're not able to see it so well. Let's move this over here. Yeah, still the jump here. So neither of these are actually better. The best one we had was that option when we said, hey, don't call update positions in this particular scenario. What if? Yeah, I can't let it go, can I? I want to get a debugger breakpoint here. Debuggery. And I'm not expecting you here, but in case we are, I want to get here. And then I want to try this. So the idea is, hey, we're calling this at the wrong time, just in the transition or whatever. I want to say, if we have not dequeued any animations, then we can update the position. I want to play with that space now for a moment. Refresh. Show sprinkles. No, still jumping. All right, kids, I'm going to take some time away. Sometimes this happens. It's one of those things where I'm like, I will fix this bug. I will find this bug and fix this. Let's go see who we can raid you to. I want to thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, your families. We'll see you tomorrow. I got to go write a blog post. Who are we going to raid you to? Instafluff. I do like Bald Bearded Builder, though, as well. I'm going to send you an Instafluff. We haven't raided Instafluff in a while. I want you to have a good time over there. If you haven't spent time with Instafluff, he's excellent, excellent. He's like the Mr. Rogers of Twitch. Really fun. You'll get it, I have faith. Hope everyone has a good afternoon, evening. Until tomorrow, keep away from people. Exactly, Jetson. All right, kids, say hi to Instafluff for me.